and welcome to this very special Kickstarter update. Spring has come to Belgium, and that means that it's been 1 year since we launched our Divinity Original Sin Kickstarter campaign. And boy, what a year it's been. If you look at the game that we had then and you look at the game that we have now, there's absolutely no comparison. And now, next week, there's going to be another shift in our development because we are going to shift the game from alpha status to beta status. And that's a very big event for us because it means that we're going to stop adding features and that we're going to completely focus on polishing, balancing and bug fixing. And we'll also be busy with translations and things like voice recordings. So that's a very major event, but as with any shift from an alpha status to beta status, we had to make a couple of production decisions, and I know there is one which you're not going to like. We decided to not do the reactions of the NPCs to day and night cycles, and the reason we're doing that is because if we were to put all of our effort in there, we wouldn't have enough time to fix all of the bugs that we still have, and there's really quite a lot of them. Now, this all has to do with the amount of freedom that's present in Divinity Original Sin, and so I would like to take a little bit of time to explain to you how we came to that decision, and then obviously I would also like to show you all of the features that we've added since the last update and this update that you're going to be able to play with next week when it's going to launch on Steam Early Access. So the major problem with the day-night cycles in our game is that there's so much freedom. It's not that we didn't expect this, but I can say that we definitely underestimated the amount of work that this was going to cause. You have to remember this is a game that allows you to kill pretty much any NPC. And the thing is that as developers, we have no idea which NPC you're going to kill. So we have to make sure that you are capable of finishing the main storyline, discovering the main storyline, even if you kill everybody. So that in its own is already a lot of work because there's not a lot of people doing that anymore. Now on top of that, we have our little NPCs. They are already doing all kinds of little routines like patrolling or doing their little routines in a tavern, for instance. And they have to be able to react to whatever the player does. Like, so for instance, if you start vandalizing property or you steal something or indeed you kill somebody, we have to have a system in place where our NPCs react to that. And that has an impact on their schedules. On top of that, we are making a cooperative multiplayer RPG, meaning that you have drop-in, drop-out multiplayer, which yields great gameplay when you're using it. But it does mean that we have to take into account 2 players instead of 1, who is destroying pretty much all the scripts that we've been making. So all of that together makes for a very complex set of test cases. And if we now add on top of that an extra dimension, which is caused by the variability of NPCs reacting to day-night cycles and to weather changes, we start getting into trouble with our test cases. And frankly speaking, our team is not big enough to cater for all of those test cases. And that's why we think it's better not to do it. And so while we have everything in place to support day and night cycles, I think that everybody's going to be much better served if we release a game that's polished instead of one that is buggy, just because we tried to ram the day-night cycles in. So that's the bad news. We had to kill one of our collective darlings, but there's also a lot of good news. You see, we've really been working very hard these last weeks, and when we work hard we can do a lot of things. There's a whole bunch of new things that are going to be added to the Steam Early Access version as we move to the beta status, and I'd like to show you a couple of these things as they're being finished over here. Alright, let's go and have a look. We're here with Tristan. He's a little bit camera shy, at least today he is. Tristan is our lead artist and he's managing a whole bunch of artists over here and to getting everything done. So how's that going?
It's been pretty busy lately. It's going pretty good. We get occasionally requests still from the designers, so they come from time to time. They come prop up with artwork, and if I can see I can manage it in the time they want, and that we can manage it for the demo, it's fine. For beta, it's fine. Some of the artists are also working on the character variations, and that's also there's a lot of them, and also the hair variation, because this is separate from the face from the main character. And then we have some unique artwork for some areas that one artist is busy on. Guillaume is still pretty busy on effects because still more or less a lot of work to do with it.
Because we have how many skills now? We have about 100, I think. Eh?
Yeah, we have a lot of skills because I just actually funny you mention it. I just checking now the icons for all the skills, the skill scrolls, and there's really a lot of them.
Can you show an icon sheet? Can you show that? Because people often don't understand.
Well, I can. I mean.
Oh, just show one.
Yeah, I have an icon sheet.
There you go. That's just one, right?
This is one icon sheet indeed, and this is like the bottom part here. It's all for skill and scrolls with skills.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of this kind of things, and actually all the scrolls are laying here on the floor.
Ah, yeah, you're doing that part. Yeah.
And they're not all of them there. I still have a lot of. I think I still have this. About 60 or 70 I have to go through. So.
Alright, so pretty much we can say it's a truckload.
Yeah, it's a truckload. And then I have some interns, and you know, interns, they need to be followed up and see how they are doing, and so then I also have these guys. They're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, because they helped us a lot with detecting bugs before they were reported. What did you have them do?
Well, they had to go through every every object that had physics in the game.
That's
to see, yeah, that's a lot. That's
not talking hundreds, we're talking tens of thousands.
So, but they went through it really fast. I mean, they finished in about 2 or 3 days. So they went through it.
Cool,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
And so the thing that they were looking for were physics intersections, I think.
Yeah, so that you can move the table, that everything moves with the table, that's not floating midair, and so on and so on. So,
alright, super.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Tristan. No problem. Let's move on and let's see how the rest of the guys are doing. I have one last question. Do you have a lot of bugs?
Actually, compared to programmers, no. But we still, I think we have around above 100 and something. But the bugs are low because every day I clean up it and I make sure that things are fixed, so that keeps the bugs low.
Yeah, because when he says 100, the other departments are in the thousands, so that's why he's so happy.
I am happy with the amount of bugs but Q&A didn't test it like completely, really roughly, so they just did it roughly. There might still be
an entire big surprise waiting for you that you're not aware yet. All right. Okay, thank you, Tristan. No problem. I'm here with the man who makes sure that there's life in our creations, Thierry, who is our lead animator, and you guys have been pretty busy, I guess.
Yeah, we sure have. We have been focused on boss animations, boss fights, story animations where we give support to storytelling and to unique NPCs in the world. We've also been focusing on new skills and status effects of it.
Oh, yeah, also, status effects, that's like if you get cold that you start shivering. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I interrupted you.
That's fine. We also have a new feature where you can actually target the ground and your character uses its melee weapon to slam the ground and change the surface with the effect that is carried on the weapon itself.
So if I have a sword that does fire damage and I have an oil field in front of me, I can now take my sword that does fire damage and hit the oil field with it, and then it's going to...
Yeah, that's going to be on fire then, and you better watch out you don't step in it.
So we're basically extending now all of the combinations that you can do with all the surfaces and the clouds that we have in the game also to the melee characters basically, because they can use their weapons for doing that, so, which is pretty cool. Alright, let's head over to the next department and see what they have been preparing for the upcoming beta update. We're here with the man who is addicted to Divinity Original Sin because he spent already a lot of time on it. David, you've been adding a truckload of stuff.
I have added, I think, over 80 or 90 skills.
90 skills. Are these all player skills or?
These are all player skills, yeah. So we also have special skills for enemies, but I'm not counting those. I'm also not counting all the special arrows, because then we would have like 400 skills. But we have a system in which you can define skills easily. Of course, defining is only the beginning, then you have to start balancing and testing them out, and you have to go to the art team and ask for animations and effects and skill icons. Then you have to go and talk to the writers and go for descriptions. But all in all, it's pretty easy to add a skill once you have the support of your team. And we did this because we saw by the way that people were playing on one hand that some skills were lacking. And on the other hand, we were not using the full power of our skill system yet, actually. We were also not using all the statuses that we have. So I think that now it has become a lot richer in all the possibilities and all the different builds of heroes that you can make.
I agree. Are there some skills that you say, well, that's really cool that we've added that, we didn't have that before?
Well, we actually ended up adding an entire new school or class of skills. So we used to have all the 4 elements, and we now actually added witchcraft. And those skills are more like on the dark side of magic, and they're buffs, debuffs, curses, spawning skeletons, so the cooler kind.
So in addition to skills, you've also added talents. We finally reached agreement on what talents we're going to put in there. Well, not necessarily agreement on all of them, but we've added quite a few new talents and removed a few of the old ones.
Now also, again, thanks to the community, they had a lot of comments and critique on existing talents. They had a lot of ideas for new talents. So we ended up scratching a couple because indeed they were either overpowered or completely useless. But we got a lot of new ones, and also really thanks to the Larian forums and the Steam forums. So something that I also ended up doing is you currently, if you start the game, you can choose from 4 or 5 preset, pre-made characters. And we now have 11. So someone on, I think on Steam community said like, I can customize my character and I can make lots of different types of builds. So why not for the people who don't really dive into the advanced character editor, why don't you foresee all these different types of builds for all the people who just quickly want to go. And so thanks to all these different skills and classes and talents, and even gear and equipment we made, I think we're now at 10 or 11 presets.
Okay, and indeed we actually also even changed our character creation screen to accommodate for that, so that people who don't want to go in that deep can easily select between one of these presets, and people who want to really customize everything have the ability even to select their starting skills. Now that's not the only thing he's been doing. He's been working also on the AI of characters so that they become smarter. Some combats have become incredibly challenging, and talking about the challenging combat, we're going to ask a little bit about challenges in the game to somebody else, with Farang, who is in charge of the world building and also the trap laying. Alright, we're here with Farang, who has been pushing the team forward to craft a world which feels very alive and incredibly free actually. Farang, you've been going through hundreds and hundreds of bugs, if not thousands of them.
Yeah, it's true, it's true. We've got quite some crazy bug reports. The biggest problem is, of course, that we have a huge amount of freedom in the game, which really results in you know, crazy bugs, things that people do. I mean, right now I was looking at a bug where if you like piss off one of your companions by attacking him, he actually gets angry, then you kill him. After you kill him, you resurrect him, and you open a dialogue with him, and because he's pissed off, the dialogue doesn't have the options in there, and then it hangs. So yeah, there's quite some crazy things like that going on.
What will you do about it?
Well, basically I would say your companion should be very grateful that he's actually being resurrected, and that pretty much cuts it short. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me. So other than fixing bugs, you've also been tightening up the levels that we have already, the areas that we have. We've actually made quite a few changes to parts of Sicile where we weren't happy, which I think it makes it look a lot better now also.
Yeah.
And you've also been laying a lot of traps out here.
It's true, it's true. The traps are a little, you know, it's a secret passion of mine. There have been quite some traps everywhere, including in the tutorial level, which is also new in there. Which is not the idea. You're not supposed to die in the tutorial, but basically there are traps all over the place, crazy traps. But I think people will like them. I mean, you've been warned for them, if everything goes correct.
Yeah, and you have the thing, there's plenty of options obviously to discover them. You can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So there's lore, there's the perception potions, there's investing in perception, and that kind of stuff. All right, so people are in for a surprise there. What's the biggest change or the coolest change that you think that we've done in the last 3 weeks, I guess, since we last updated it?
Ah, yes, the biggest change. Well, there's a whole northern part of Sicile that we completely revamped. So that's really literally, you know, about a fourth of the map. Yeah. Has been made more interesting, more diverse, and especially gameplay-wise, it's completely different than what it used to be, and it offers a very nice mix to what we have actually.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so you're going to get, as Farang mentioned, the other part of Size Heal that you haven't seen yet in the next version of Divinity Original Sin on Steam Early Access. And there's quite some surprises in there, including a whole bunch of traps. But you'll also see that in the parts that you've already played, that we've been listening to the feedback that you've been giving us, and you'll see that there's been changes there also, and that goes in some cases quite far. And so finally we're here with the man behind the machine, the man behind the Divinity Original Sin engine, our technical director Burt. Burt, how's it going?
It's going fine, I think. We're a bit tired, all the programmers. We went through a long list of bugs. We did a lot of work the past 3 weeks. The things I did was selecting the bugs that we had to fix, giving priorities, trying to see what would benefit the game most.
You were also finishing the last features because
yes. There were some open features, yeah, indeed. So,
and you've been fighting off designers who were asking for more features.
That's part of my job. And artists and designers and the CEO. So I had to do everything.
That's true.
But we did some good. We did a lot of work. We did some work to the optimizations. We did a lot of work to the loading times because they were way too long.
Yeah.
We did a lot of work behind the scenes to optimize all this stuff. It's work that not a lot of people see, but it happens, of course. We added a lot of new systems to the game. Like we have now some kind of an environment system, so we can make people warm or chilled, or we can slow people when they walk through oil, and it's a lot of.
Really cool
it adds a lot to the gameplay.
Yeah.
We optimized both CPU and GPU. We did quite some memory enhancements, so people running on low memory environments should be able to play the game as well now. Other than that, we enhanced the projectile previews. This was something that we did for the last alpha version as well, but now it's been it's fine-tuned a lot.
Yeah, I've noticed that's much more robust, but also the item picking is much more robust.
The item picking is a lot better. So the issues that people were having, like blocked because of walls or characters that were dead and you couldn't select them anymore, these things should be a thing of the past, I hope. Networking, we enhanced a lot.
Connectivity has improved.
Yes, indeed. So
we got error reporting now.
People who are having connectivity issues should hopefully be able to connect with their friends now. If not, we added a lot of more feedback to the players. So if something goes wrong, we are able to see what's going wrong. If people let us know what the problem is.
And you also added the last remaining features like pickpocketing and...
we added a lot of stuff to the crafting to make it nicer that crafting will level up more, so it will stay interesting even in the end game. So that is something we did. We added a guard feature that in combat you can delay your turn. So it's a lot more technical now. You can decide where and when you want to spend your action points. That's something that we added. We enhanced the drag and drop. We added new talents. We added a lot new perks as well. A lot new skills. All these systems.
That's true, because the new skills also required new support from code. Yeah.
Also, you can hit surfaces with your melee weapons now. So you can, if you have a sword that does fire damage, you can ignite it and burn everybody who's standing in the surface.
You can chat now in multiplayer.
You can chat. True. Yeah. That was something that was missing. We enhanced the pathfinding, by the way. That's a big one because the enemies take it into account also. Yes, and that means that enemies are a lot smarter now. So
which I've noticed.
In the past, it happened that archers, like enemy archers, were firing in the wall because you were standing behind the wall. These are things that we fixed, so they will move in the correct spot now, and they will fire at you, and it will make combat a lot harder.
It does. I've been dying a lot today as I was trying out the latest build. So, are there any big features that we still have on our list that you say, well, these we still have to make?
Yes. It's more usability things that I want to add still. So, like, we're working on a formation system. So then, when combat starts, that players and the party will move in formation. So the hassle of moving your characters into combat will hopefully be gone then. What are we still adding? We're adding a mini game for the dialogue. So if it will be in, indeed. I almost forgot, indeed. So when people in multiplayer or even a single player in the corporate dialogues are having a conflict, you have a nice little surprise. So yeah, a lot of AI enhancements because of new calls that the designers have in the scripts, which will also help the combat in the combat.
And then, so a question I guess people will have also is that we have an editor which we're going to ship, a toolkit that's going to be shipping with the game. We haven't done it yet for the reason that we don't want to add the logistics of having to support that also on top of the thousands of bugs that we still have to churn through. But we also have a little secret team which is working very hard and very well, I think, on a certain thing. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, it's a team that's working for us on the Mac version of the game. Yeah. So we are almost almost done with the Mac version. It's ready, I think. It's in testing now. It still needs, of course, the usual optimizations and the usual testing and enhancements. But the Mac version is a thing of reality. It exists. It exists. Yeah.
And it's going to come to Steam Early Access fairly soon also, once it's gone through QA and performance is to the level that we want it to have. All right.
Exactly.
So now it's bug fixing dominantly?
Bug fixing, yeah. The next few weeks, the last few remaining features, and then it's finishing up the game. I mean...
So we're going to launch it now on Steam Early Access. We're going to discover what bugs are in there, what balancing fixes we still need to do, and what polishing is remaining. As mentioned, we're going to do our translation work, which undoubtedly is going to lead to new bugs also as we go through the joys of localization. We'll put in the voice recordings, and we're going to cram it all on one DVD, maybe 2 DVDs, and then we're going to ship it. That's our plan for the next couple of months, and then Divinity Original Sin will be done. So, the update of Divinity Original Sin, the shift to beta status, is going to happen next week. We don't have an exact date yet, but we're pretty sure that it will be next week. And obviously we will keep you informed. We'll also organize a Twitch session in which you can ask us questions about where we are, what we're doing, what features we've got this Monday. The date will be announced on our Kickstarter page. And I hope I will see a lot of you there, and then we will show you some things that are in the beta, and then hopefully soon enough you'll be able to play it yourselves, enjoy the new content that is being unlocked, and definitely enjoy also the hard work that has been done, which has lifted Original Sin again that much higher from what it already was. Alright, so thank you for watching this very long video. It contained a lot of information, and I'll be seeing you hopefully on Twitch on Monday. Take care, bye bye.
Speaking of the military, if there's something you don't want to neglect, it's the bids and requests of your generals. Their influence on the battlefield is not to be taken lightly.
Have a sherry to calm those nerves.
In the Queen's quarters, decorated